What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's live. If you have ever wondered, how do I get health insurance once I become a business owner and I'm self employed? That is exactly what we are going to talk about. And the question that we're going to answer today, it's one of the most popular questions that our clients have. So I'm excited to dive into this because some of these options I know that I didn't know about, people don't know about. And the purpose of this live is really to simplify the process for you in terms of understanding what your options are, when becoming a business owner. Maybe you're a business owner already and you don't even know that these are options. Now, I am starting 10 minutes early today on the live because I get to go pick up my son from summer camp. So we're starting a little bit live and excited. So we're going to make this pretty quick, actually. I'm going to make it short and sweet and impactful. And this live is sponsored by the Franchise Empire newsletter. Every single week, we put out specific franchises. We send you a newsletter for free. We break down the numbers. We break down the business. You can sign up and get that in your inbox for free every week at franchiseempire.com/newsletter. So let's dive into it. Okay, so the first option for health insurance, and there's a bunch. Some are more obvious than others. The first one is actually healthcare.gov. So it's the marketplace insurance, otherwise known as Obamacare, right? And so healthcare.gov is interesting. I wasn't incredibly familiar with the way that this worked, but basically the marketplace insurance is based on your income. So depending upon how much money you are going to make this year, the year in which you are getting your health insurance, then you will qualify for a credit towards your health insurance, which is very interesting. So you may say, well, why is that a viable option as an entrepreneur going into self-employed? Well, here's an example. Let's play out this scenario. Let's say that you normally make $150,000 a year. And so, because of that, you probably wouldn't qualify for healthcare.gov because I just had this pulled up, but healthcare.gov income limit. So the most you can make for healthcare.gov, it depends upon how many people you have in your family. But the max looks like it's $120,000 for a family of four. So if you make over $120,000 in AGI, adjusted gross income, you're not going to be able to qualify for any. You can still buy a marketplace plan. You just don't get any like tax credits or credits for it. Here's what's interesting. Some of you may make 150 grand this year, but you're going to leave your job, right? And you're going to go full-time into entrepreneurship. The likelihood is, in you starting your business in that first year, your take-home income is going to drop. The first year of entrepreneurship, you're probably not going to pay yourself that much money. Your business may even just break even. Maybe it actually loses a little bit of money that first year. And so what happens is you can guesstimate when you're filling out on healthcare.gov, when you're filling out the questionnaire and it says, how much money do you expect to earn this year? Let's say you expect that your business is only going to pay you 60 grand. Well, guess what? Now you're going to be quoted health insurance premium with the subsidy based on what you're going to earn that year in terms of in your business, which is pretty cool and pretty interesting. Most people don't know that. They think it's for the previous year. So for those of you just like tuning in, if you are planning on going full-time in your business and your income is going to decrease for that year, you can get discounted health insurance through healthcare.gov. I thought this was really interesting. I think there was a point where I did this actually. I think the very first year of our franchise being open. So I think it was in 2018 because I had left my job to go full-time into the business for the franchise. And here's what happens. What happens is if you wind up earning more that year, then then what happens is you just owe a little bit more in taxes because you got to pay some of the premium back. It's pretty interesting and a very viable option for some of you. By the way, as we're diving into this, if you have any specific questions, like let me know in the chat and see if I'll be able to answer. Hopefully that was helpful so far. The second option for health insurance is what's called AHPs, Association Health Plans. These are really interesting, and I need to do more research on them. But basically, you know how you can have like, as an example, the NRA, National Rifle Association, right? It's an association for people that are into guns, right? And want protection for that. But there are different entrepreneurial or industry associations, and those associations can band together and get a group health insurance plan. So there can be an entrepreneurial or small business association that creates a health insurance plan that gets the benefit of group health insurance pricing for people that are self-employed. So you'll need to do some digging around, what some of those associations are, and if you qualify, right? Meaning that you meet the eligibility requirement of some of those associations, but not a lot of people know about it, and it's a bit elusive. So I wish there was more transparency and more availability in that overall, but it's an interesting and viable option. So, hello, Purple Blue. Good to see you again. Another option. This is an interesting option here, which is, okay, so let's say you are, you're full-time in your business. Obviously, this really applies for people that are going to go full-time, right? Because if you're keeping your job and starting a business, buying a franchise, then you're probably going to keep your insurance from your job, right? Now, the most obvious solution is if you are married and you have a spouse and you're running under your health insurance plan, it would be just to go under your spouse's health insurance plan, right? You're going to pay obviously more because family coverage is more, but that's an obvious option. I want to make sure we talk about it. It may sound obvious, but that's an option. So as an example, let's say I leave my job, my wife works for a company, and I had, let's say, my health insurance was fully covered by my employer. I leave my employer. The option is that I can hop on my wife's plan at her job, pay more, but it's still not going to be, depending upon your spouse's employer, it's still not going to be as expensive if you just went out on your own and got health insurance. So that's another viable option, right? Fairly obvious one. Now, here's another option that is very interesting. So most people do not know that you can pay for your health insurance through your business and write off 100% of that expense. So let me repeat that. You can pay for your health insurance through your business. Yes, you're still paying for it. You're going out there, you're getting a private plan. You would reach out to a health insurance broker, which is what I did many years ago. They can run you quotes on what the different plans are in your area. You pick a plan. Now, it's not going to be subsidized in any way, right? So as an example, you may have been used to paying $100 every pay period with your employer, and then and so let's call that $200 a month. Turns out the health insurance plan, $600 a month. Your company was subsidizing $400 a month that they were paying for you. So you go out on your own as an entrepreneur, you get a quote, you go, holy crap, my health insurance is going to be $600 a month. I'm going to pay $400 a month more. Obviously a lot of money. The difference is that you can then write that off, pay for it under your business, and write that health insurance cost off. But there is a caveat to this, okay? Here's the caveat, is that if your spouse is eligible for group insurance through their plan, like if your spouse is working and they have group insurance, then you cannot write it off. You would need to, it'd probably be better off to just go under their plan, right? So that's the interesting part about it. So as an example, the way, I'm 100% self-employed. but so is my wife. So neither of us have access to a group health insurance plan. So because of that, we both are able to write off the cost of health insurance under the business. So it's expensive. We pay a lot. I think combined, and we have pretty good plans, but I think combined we pay like $1,600-$1,700 a month for health insurance, which is wild. But at the end of the day, it's a write-off, right? So there's a funny meme about that. Someone like buys something crazy and they're like, well, it's a write-off. They're like, do you even know what that means? And they're like, well, who writes it off? The government. It's pretty funny if you've seen that little kind of skit that's gone viral online. But so that's an option, right? So if you are going to be fully self-employed, your spouse doesn't have any access to group health insurance, you bite the bullet, you pay the more expensive amount, and then you get to write it off. But if your spouse has access to group coverage, you do not have the ability to write it off. Very interesting. Okay, let's there's a couple other things that I want to go through. So let's just look at some of the questions real quick. Is it more expensive than health insurance for employees? I'm not sure I understand the question. Is health insurance more expensive than health insurance for employees? Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you clarify the question? If you offer health insurance for your employees, like it's going to be expensive because in order to offer it as a group plan, you need to subsidize a portion of their health insurance, meaning you need to pay for a portion of it. Which is why a lot of businesses that have 50 employees or less, they don't offer health insurance because it's incredibly expensive for the employer to do that. Is it the same whether you start or buy a business? Yes. I mean, either way, you're a business owner at that point. It really just depends on, obviously, if you're full-time in the business. Let's see, Levine, can we write off the insurance premium cost even if it is covered under COBRA? I think COBRA is technically is under a group plan. So I don't think so, but that would be a question for a tax person. If you have a tax person. And that's a perfect segue. That was one of the other options I was going to cover. A more obvious ones. I'm saving some of the more obvious ones for later. Try to front load with the ones that you guys may not know about. So obviously COBRA is certainly an option. COBRA can be super expensive. And at that point, if COBRA is just as expensive as if you just went under your own private plan through a health insurance broker, then you might as well do that so you can get the write-off if COBRA makes you ineligible. But that would be something to check on. The other thing is that you can create your own group plan, right, through like your payroll provider. So as an example, I use a payroll company called Gusto, right? And through Gusto, I can log in and they can quote me. I can answer a couple questions, and they provide immediate access to healthcare plans. So I could create my own group health insurance plan, offer it to my employees, and show the amount of coverage that I would be offering my employees. So like I'm going to actually do this live. I probably won't share my screen here, but what's interesting is I started going through some of the thing, and if I'm just looking at just medical insurance, and by the way, if you guys need a payroll company, or if you're looking for a good one, Gusto is awesome. I actually have a referral code through them where you get $100 if you end up signing up for Gusto, like you need it for payroll. You get a $100 gift card by using this link. So I'm going to provide you that link right there. I really like Gusto. I've used ADP for my stores in the past, but Gusto's pretty cool. It's super modern. I've had good experiences so far. Okay, let me go back to this health insurance example though. So as an example, I put in, okay, I've got 3 employees, um, and I think the minimum that you can put is what's the minimum contribution? Yeah, so generally you have to contribute. Most states generally require that companies contribute at least 50% of employee premiums. So generally speaking, if you're going to create a group plan, which is not that it's not that expensive to the administrative side of it's not that expensive. Obviously, covering 50% of your employees' healthcare cost, could be expensive. But as an example, like if their health insurance is, let's say it's $500 a month each, and you have 3 employees, and you're paying $750 a month because you're paying the 50%. Well, think about just, the retention of what that could potentially create. So you definitely have to weigh the cost benefit of potentially creating a group plan, for your employees, because it could really help dramatically with employee retention and them not, leaving if you're the one that's offering it. So you may think, oh, that's expensive. Even if I have 1 employee, I don't want to contribute towards their health insurance cost. But it could have a really positive impact on your business overall. So that was what I had to cover today. Like I said, short and sweet. Do you spend money on payroll if you hire? Do you spend money on payroll if you hire contractors or only employees? Yeah. So we have the ability to add contractors and employees under Gusto. So we do have a team of W-2 employees where there are payroll fees, and the Social Security and Medicare and all that stuff where, as an employer, I have to contribute a certain portion. But we also have a good amount of people on our team that are contractors. So there are not those, like, we don't have to pay, contribute to Social Security, Medicare, all that stuff for those people. But it does count towards the, for the actual payroll fees for the platform. I don't know. I think it's like $10 per person a month or something like that, of like the payroll provider charges. But you're typically not paying like the employer taxes, if that's what you're talking about, for contractors. So we pretty much pay almost everyone through our team through Gusto, with the exception of some contractors or agencies that just like invoice us through PayPal or something like that. All right. Hopefully this was valuable. Again, for those of you guys who are not on our newsletter, to get franchises in your inbox every week for free with all the numbers and us breaking them down, then go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. Make sure to like this video if you're watching on YouTube. It will help show it to more people in the algorithm. And I will see you guys next Thursday with the juicy topic. Later, guys.